Hello YouTube family, welcome to Keto's World and welcome to Marriage Series episode 3. Alright, today we are talking about reasons why men marry wrong. Last time we spoke about why women marry wrong. So if you are watching us for the first time, we are talking about marriage, relationship, dating, and love issues on a platform called Marriage Series on Keto's World channel. If you're watching us for the first time, click the subscribe button and the notification gang so you get notified every time we post a new video. Right, let's get into it. So these views are from my personal experience that I've experienced within my context. They might be context bound, but if these reasons that I'm gonna outline here relate, or it's also what is happening in your context, in your society, in your community, comment below and let us engage. So number one, misguided priorities. In our last episode, Why Women Marry Wrong, misguided priorities was reason number 2. The first being desperation. But for men, what I think is misguided priorities is on top of the list. This includes men putting factors or things that do not really matter most as the priority, as the top thing, top character, top feature, top trait, which they are looking for when choosing a life partner. And these misguided priorities are like beauty. Just because the woman is beautiful, even if there's nothing here, even if there's no real chemistry, it can be infatuation. But just because she's beautiful, the men tend to marry a woman just because she is beautiful. And I don't know whether I should call it pride. Maybe it's pride because they feel proud when a beautiful woman walks next to them. Yeah, my woman is beautiful. So I think maybe it's a pride issue. The next one, which for me it's very disturbing because I just recently observed it and I have even experienced it myself directly. It's men marrying women because of class, because of title, because of a position the woman occupies in a society or in the corporate world. Yes, because you are a doctor, because she's a lawyer, she's a chief executive officer, she's an executive director. I really find it disturbing. And maybe for some of you have experienced it. Even there are men these days, when you listen to their conversations, even a petrol attendant says, I want my teacher, I want my nurse. And this leads to double trouble. Why? Because of the reasons that I discussed in episode 2, desperation, that we women, most of us are desperate to get married. And this is why sometimes we don't even look at it. If a petrol attendant comes to me and I'm a teacher and the petrol attendant says, I want to marry you, and me as a teacher have been waiting and been desperate, I want to hear that word, someone pronouncing to me that he wants to get married. These two people get together, wrong union. This is Selma, Chief Executive Officer, And there's this thing of, when women go that high, a lot of men tend to, don't approach them. So when this one who wants to marry a CEO approaches her and says, I want to marry you, and she's in a state of desperation, we are onto the train. We jump onto that train. And these are the kind of things that you see in today's society. Women are forking out everything for the wedding. They buy themselves the wedding gown. In my culture, I know in some cultures, it is the responsibility of a woman to buy a wedding gown for themselves. In my culture, it has to be vice versa. The man has to buy everything. And now when you see these things happening, when a man wants to marry a title or a status, and the woman was found in a state of desperation. Here is a petrol attendant with a teacher or with a nurse. Here is a petrol attendant with a medical doctor or a chief executive officer, by that matter. These are things that we see today in today's society. The woman does everything, buys herself even rings. There are women who have gone to an extent of buying themselves rings, and they bought the wedding gown and they forked everything, the decoration tent. In my culture, we have two receptions, at the woman's place and at the men's place. The woman pays for the tent at her place, and at a woman, all that is coming from a place of desperation. And this John, who wants to marry a title, who wants to marry a class, yet he can't even afford to take care of that woman. Right, we move on to number two. Number two, I call it, can I say, cultural influenced by the culture. Like within my context, a marriage material is a woman who is kind of reserved, a woman who knows most of the cultural things, a woman who can cook, can iron, can, because the men in my context believe they are children, they need to be taken care of by the woman. So John sees a woman who is reserved, a woman who is collected, a woman who, what we call marriage material. Even if there is no chemistry, even if there is no shared values, just because of that, because society or the culture has told us, the woman makes a home, the woman needs to do this and to do this. So they look for that. And in most cases, these are men who you see, they spend their whole time at the beer hall or at watching soccer or drinking, because at home, what they put in their homes, in their houses, it's not something that you really want to spend time with. It's just because, she can take care of the house, she can give birth to kids and take care of the kids and so forth. That's what I think as number two. Number three is pressure from family members, pressure from friends. Now, when I discussed about pressure from family members and friends in the last episode, there's a difference how men and women react to this pressure. For me, what I see is that pressure for the woman puts a woman in a state of desperation. That constant asking or that constant pressure from family members, get married, or they see their friends getting married, it puts them in a state of desperation. But for me, in the case of a man, what I think is men don't really get in a state of desperation. But I see marrying this person that the family members are saying they must marry just to satisfy the desires of the friends or the desires of the family members. You see, the mother, especially the mothers, my gender, please, can we chill? The mothers are the ones who put pressure on the children, whether it's men or women. They put the pressures on their sons and daughters. You know, my son get married, my son get married. So, and you know, a lot of men don't like disappointing their mothers. So they kind of just marry a person to satisfy the desire of the mother. You know, sometimes Adam's gender, sometimes they can be, John can be with Cecilia for 2-3 years. Even the mother knows or the siblings know. But, you know, they can be with you. Adams, these ones, they can be with you, but yet they are just playing with you. They are not serious. So now, because the mother knows Cecilia or the siblings know Cecilia, and maybe they get to like Cecilia, so they will be like, John, please, just marry Cecilia. Just marry Cecilia. So men end up marrying Cecilia. It's not that, you know, but just because there's that pressure from friends, there's that pressure from family members, they just marry Cecilia to kind of fulfill the desire of the family members and the friends. But in the case of a woman, it's desperation. They get into that state of desperation. That was number 3. Number 4. Adam's gender, you know, they can be playful. They play with their time. They enjoy life. You know, they are not in a rush. They are not like women, because for them, they don't have an age limit. Kind of like, not like us. Women, as 30, it's a serious age. Before 30, I must be married. When you are a woman is approaching 30, the desperation, if we are to measure, it can be 200 going up there. But for men, they can take their time, enjoying life, and until one day they kind of like, it's like they've been sleeping. And then one day they're like, they wake up like, oh, I'm now 40, or I'm now 45, or I'm now 50. Think I need to get married. And now because of that, they feel like they are late. So again, they can pick anyone and they get married because of that feeling late. Okay. Reason number 5. For the men, we are going up to number 6. But that doesn't mean that they are the ones who are marrying wrong more than the women. It's just that for women, there's desperation, and that desperation comes from a lot of sources, and that's why I grouped them like that. Okay? Number 5 for me, a man can marry wrong because of the desire for validation. You know, there are men who want to validate their masculinity. They want to show to the society that I am a man. And for that, they don't consider important factors when you are choosing a life partner. Because what is in front of them is validation. They want to show their masculinity to the society. And the last one, the last reason why men marry wrong can be past experiences. And this applies for both men and women. Past experiences in terms of heartbreaks, right? Heartbreaks, yeah. There are some Adams who are, and they got it with Anna, it ended in tears. With Maria, it ended in tears. With Christofina, it ended in tears. And the next one, they meet this woman. They don't consider important factors. because they are scared of another heartbreak. And again, most women are found in a state of desperation. They get onto the train and marry. So past experience heartbreaks, or it can be childhood trauma. Psychology has taught us that we are products of where we are coming from. We are products of our past. Who we are today is shaped by how we were brought up. So if I grew up in a home where my parents were just constantly fighting and insulting each other, whether physically abusing each other physically or maybe verbally and so forth, as children we get conditioned to that, and we tend to believe that that is normal, and that affects us even in our way, or in how we choose our life partners. This is why you find that a woman is likely to pick a man who resembles the father, and vice versa, the man can also choose a woman who resembles the mother. So if this is a man who grew up seeing the mother abusing the father, maybe verbally, because women, we are good at verbal abuse, even when this man meets a woman who does the same, who insults and who does all these things, they don't see that as red flags, because they are conditioned to believe that that is normal. So for them, that is normal. Right, so thank you so much for watching. If you have other reasons why you think men marry wrong, add them into the comment section and let us engage. Thank you so much. Till next time.